O'Neill Outside Radio is brought to you by these fine sponsors. The Whitetail Institute of North America, the gold standard for food plots. Realtree, camo hunting, fishing, and land management products. Tough Shed, great storage sheds and custom buildings. Works, power and garden tools. Fisher's Choice, the ideal solution to live bait. CVA, quality muzzleloader since 1971. QDMA, Quality Deer Management Association. Arctic Ice, the most durable, versatile, and effective cooler packs available. And Furminator, the finest food plot implement on the market.
Good morning, boys and girls, from Black Powder headquarters at Three Falls Cabin in the North Georgia Mountains. CVA presents Realtree Radio. Welcome to a brand new, unused Saturday morning. Good morning, boys and girls. I'm jumping ahead. We can get our introductions all wound up, but this is O'Neill from Black Powder headquarters and the Bojangles studio. We have 2 hours of outdoors headed your way. You can watch us on Facebook and listen on WSB, that is 95.5 WSB, and 750 on your AM dial, and Facebook, and all across the country from Seattle to LA to Maine and to South Florida, all on the SB Nation. So, welcome to the program, everyone. 2 hours of outdoors, no politics, and man, oh man, do I wish I could say a few things, but I've promised that I would not. And all outdoors, about you, your family, the holiday that we're enjoying this weekend, the things for you to do, some highly valued recommendations about fishing, hunting, and the preparation for the hunting season, and of course, your calls. The telephone numbers are 404-872-0750 in the Atlanta, Georgia area, and across the country at 800-972-8255. That translates to WSB Talk, T-A-L-K. I'll give those numbers again. 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255. It's my pleasure and obligation to tell you that this program is brought to you by Realtree, Tough Shed, Stripling's General Store, the Whitetail Institute, Arctic Ice, CVA Muzzleloaders, the Furminator, Quality Deer Management Association, Fisher's Choice Baits, and Snellville Heating and Air. They're bigger than they sound. So, welcome to the program, everyone. We have a lot of things to talk about this morning. We have a podcast, Alaska, a book, a radio prize package question, the Medal of Honor tribute in the second hour. We will have a newly instituted prize package called Who Is This? And then you'll enjoy that too, I promise. This is O'Neill Outside, Saturday mornings, 4 to 6 a.m., the #1 live outdoor-based radio talk show in the world, because you listen and participate. This is O'Neill. After a short break, we'll be back and we'll get started. Okay, let's talk about a few things. I have a question to pose for you, and then I'll have some recommendations. First of all, the reminders are very self-serving. You can visit O'Neill Outside by website at o'neilloutside.com or o'neilloutside.net, and you can order my book there on the homepage. You can order it there. You can order it at Amazon. If you order it at the website, then I will personally sign that book. And maybe you'll find it some good reading about the people and places along the way that I have had in the last 65 years of being in the outdoors. This is not John Steinbeck. It's not the great American novel. It's what it says it is. But you can order it there, and on that home page also, down at the bottom of the page, you can join us on our trip to Alaska next June of 2020. I think we have 5 rooms left, balcony rooms, and I'd love to have you go. I would tell you that this is the #1 cruise I've ever been associated. We've made this trip 2 times. We leave out of Seattle, and we go up the Lynn Canal inside the Inland Passage all the way to the glaciers, and it's just marvelous. And you should book it now. You can cancel later if you need be, but you need to book it now, and you can find out that at o'neilloutside.com, the homepage right down there at the bottom. Okay, I have some recommendations. Ready? I know it's August and summertime fishing is going to extend for at least another month. Now, the autumnal, I think that's the way you call it, the autumnal equinox is approximately 3 weeks. What does that mean? That means the number of hours of daylight are being reduced or are reducing now, and in 3 weeks, approximately the 3rd week of September, it's the same number of hours of daylight as darkness. So fishing begins to really change then. But here's some recommendations about improving your fishing, some unusual recommendations for now, summertime fishing. Ready? Okay. You go into a lake where you haven't been successful. Maybe it's a new lake. Maybe it's a lake where you need to try some new things. Okay? Big lakes. Go where there's current. Go up the river, up the lengthy creeks. Find current. That will help your fishing. Number 2, fish deep and then deeper and then deeper. I know 2 years ago I was with Mac Farr at Lake Lanier, and I was lucky enough to hook and catch a striper at 100 feet. Actually, I think the striper was 97 feet, but let's call it an even 100. Surprising? You bet. Number 3, do you always have to go for bass? Of course, it's the number 1 sport fish in the United States. But when you go fishing and you want to be successful and you want to fill the cooler and you want to take a child with you that can get bit, it doesn't have to be a bass. Fish for something else. Fish for crappie under the docks. Or go to a stream and catch trout. Change your target. And lastly, if you insist on bass fishing, bass fish at night. I used to do a lot of that when I was younger and could stay up and still work the next day. Fish at night. Fishing changes at night. If you fish around the lighted docks, the lighted marinas, then you can catch a lot of bass at night. Okay. If you want to call about that, discuss that, add to that list, be sure to call me at 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255. Before we get to my next question, let's talk to Wade. Wade is calling from Kentucky, I believe. Good morning, Wade. What do you say, pal?
Morning, O'Neill.
What's going on with you? What's going on? Talk to me.
It's 3 o'clock here, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it. Yeah, no, be sure. Yeah.
You know what that means, don't you?
Go ahead, tell me.
15 hours and 13 minutes till kickoff.
You know, that's right. I know you're a fan. I am a fan of the sport more than I am for the team. But
I'm
that's
big on
okay,
college.
isn't it?
I mean, I'm big on college.
Good deal.
I ain't too happy. Well, we ain't gonna talk politics, but the pro ball game is a different ball game than the college ball game.
Absolutely. You're right about that.
I like what you're talking about. Fish where the current's at.
You like that?
I miss that current coming out below that Buford Dam.
Oh, that's exactly right.
About knee deep up in that trout stream be about a good day today.
Oh, yes, it would. It gets better all the time. As a matter of fact, I don't have time to do it today, but the stocking report for the DNR in Georgia, and I'm sure states all over the South, The Department of Natural Resources stocks trout every single week.
That's the best $5 you will spend every summer.
You betcha. You
That
betcha.
trout stamp, and you told me before to harp on that. That trout stamp is the best $5, and that $9 fishing license. That's your best under $20 entertainment for you can get.
Absolutely. I'm glad you're a follower of that, and I hope my audience is listening to you because it's a huge audience, and I hope that they are. They tell me they
you can spend $100 on a season pass at Lake Lanier Islands, and you won't get near the enjoyment out of it as you will that $14 on your fishing and trout stamp.
It's a shame that other tax monies and other fees can remotely relate to the importance and what you get from a fishing license.
You know, and the funny part about it is, it's just when you buy that little old pack of Eagle Claw Gold hooks,
Yeah.
that money's going to them fish too.
Oh yeah. That's
You
that's
buy
a
that
good
brand
point.
new 5500 Garcia reel
Uh-huh.
and put it on that new rod. That's going to them fish.
That's exactly right. From the excise taxes and the Pittman-Robertson Wildlife Restoration Act, which is about 90 years old now.
Wasn't it 27 that come in?
I think it was, yeah, 1927.
Guess where I learned that at?
I don't know.
Somewhere on a Saturday morning about 4 o'clock.
That's right. Yeah, the Pittman-Robertson Wildlife Restoration Act. That's why our hunting and fishing and wildlife management in this country is the best in the world.
Yeah, see, I was looking at, I got to put this to Woman Williams. Can I say it on there?
Absolutely.
It's clean. I got a buddy named Jonathan Spittler, Spitler.
Uh-huh.
He has moved to Ringgold, Alaska.
Oh, my goodness.
Bought him a boat, and he runs out there and gets the salmon from the salmon catchers and takes them back to the market.
Oh, boy. Got him a business.
Yeah, he's got it going on. I laugh at him. I guess about 5 or 6 years ago, his best friend, my buddy David's son. My best buddy David, one of his grandpa on that cabin up on the river I talk about so much.
Oh, yeah.
His son, and well, his nickname's Kelso. He looks like Kelso on that 70s show.
Okay.
But Jonathan ain't never killed a deer. I took him over at Waltz over off New Bethany right there near the lake. But look, I sat right here on this terrace, and right about dark, they going to come out down there. Well, boom! Uh-oh.
Oh, boy.
Boom! Uh-oh! Got him, didn't kill one the first time he killed one, he killed 2.
He's spoiled rotten. All right, my good friend.
I made him get dirty. He's like, I'm going to take these over here to the processor. Well, you ain't going to take them without cleaning them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, he clean them for me. Oh, no.
You got to complete the hunt.
We're
All right, my good friend.
We're going to clean that second. Yeah, we hung them up in the big old persimmon tree in the backyard.
I got to put you on hold here, pal. I got to go for a break. This is O'Neill outside. We'll be back with Who Is This? Welcome back, everyone. We have a feature coming up on the program called Who Is This? And you can win, what did I say we're going to win? Maybe a fishing cap or something. But before I get to that, a couple of things. Pay close attention to some of the recommendations that I make because and let's be fair, I glean these recommendations like the ones I just gave you about changing your fishing habits in the summertime. I get these from websites and some from my own experience, but if you pay close attention to some of those, and plant them in your brain and give it a try, you can improve your fishing. Now, here's something I want you to understand. One of my sponsors is called Arctic Ice, ARCTIC Ice. It's these big plastic liquid-filled trays, if you will, or packages, and you put them in the freezer. And you use that instead of ice. and you can refreeze them. They stay frozen all day. I'm just telling you those as a personal favor. Once you get some Arctic ice and put it in the freezer, you won't buy ice anymore, and you're going to find out how convenient that is. Okay, before we play Who Is This?, I want to make another recommendation to you. Deer season's right around the corner, and you are preparing now. And during your trips to the woods in preparation for the deer season, you can squirrel hunt. Yeah, squirrel season in Georgia and around the South is already in. It's most pleasant, great to take a kid. You can use a single shot 410. It's safe. You get a lot of shots. You see a lot of game, and you can eat the squirrels. Yeah, parboiled squirrel dumplings. Don't pay any attention to Milton Crabapple. He says squirrel head jelly. That's a joke. But squirrel hunt while you prepare for the deer season. Okay. So here's the ultimate question that I'm posing to you for you to think about. What is, if you've got an old deer lease, you own some land, you just got you a new deer lease, and here is the thing that you can do that will make the deer season the best it can be this year, real soon, and for other years that you have the lease. All right, let's chat about it. Put in a food plot. A good one that fits, one that works, one that lasts. Because let's face it, what do white-tailed deer, whether they live in Central Florida or Canada, what do they do? What is their daily activity? Other than the rutting period in which they mate, all they do is hang out, eat, sleep, and remain alive. They're real good at that remaining alive part. They sleep often, sometimes with their eyes open. They eat, so they stay close to food sources. And they separate. The does look after the fawns, and the bucks kind of hang out with their buddies. And that's all they do. And the central part of that combination is a food supply. And while a deer feeder is good, especially during the season, a food plot is most desirable. How do you know what to plant? How do you know when to plant it? How do you prepare the soil so that the food plot is successful? You can put in a great food plot, but if the ground is not prepared properly, it won't work. You have to get a soil test. Then you have to use a ferminator and get it all planted just perfectly. It works. Plant perennials. Plant things that are going to come back every year. Plant things that are going to grow all year long. And it feeds not only the deer, keeps them on your site, but it feeds other animals also. How do you find that out? Here's my selfish source. If you will telephone the Whitetail Institute, they're in a little town called Pentlala, Alabama. And there's a real live person who will answer the phone and entertain your calls. Now, I brought this subject up because I get calls every week, messages on Facebook and messages on emails and all of that at my O'Neill Outside Facebook page. What do I plant this year, O'Neill? Excuse me. Well, and the caller or the guy who's asking that question lives in Kansas. I don't know what to plant in Kansas. But the Whitetail Institute does. They'll tell you what to plant, when to plant it, what to expect from it. I know, and the subject came up, and I'm going to get to the question in a moment. The subject came up because the Whitetail Institute sent Power Plant and Imperial Clover to Travis in Oklahoma. They're going to send it Monday and Tuesday. They researched that would work best in western Oklahoma and east Texas Panhandle, so he's going to have food plots there. Ooh, Okay. Whole nother subject. Let's see if we have any calls about my fishing recommendations. And, we're going to talk. Let me ask the question first, Tony, and then I'm going to get right to you. All right, I have, what am I going to give away? Okay, the telephone numbers are 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255. I will send to you a signed O'Neill Outside fishing cap for the first correct answer to the following question. Who is this? This fellow hosted a nationally syndicated fishing show called Championship Fishing. He hosted it for 25 years, 21 of which he was the number one rated for fishing shows. According to Nielsen and other rating services, in one of those years, the show was placed number one over 400 syndicated shows. He started a plumbing shop in Missouri in 1950, and he and his son, Bill, then started up Bass Buster Lures. In the back of the shop, they sold it to Johnson Fishing later on. Who is this? The host of Championship Fishing. Call with the correct answer to the numbers I gave you, and I'll send you a fishing cap. Right now, let's talk to Tony. Tony is calling from Lawrenceville, Georgia. Good morning, Tony. What do you say?
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey there. How are you?
I'm doing good. Doing good.
Glad to hear it.
So, what I want to ask is, I'm a deer hunter, and I hunt on government land up in Monticello, Georgia.
Okay.
What would you recommend to hunt on government land?
Okay, the recommendations I have for public land, and I hunt public land also, there's 2 or 3 recommendations. Ready? This is activity. All right. Number 1, if you can hunt during the week, that means there won't be very many hunters there. Number two, and pardon me for interrupting, hunt deep into the property. Because most of the deer hunters will park their truck and walk about 100 yards. And when they do that, they're going to send the deer to you. Okay? Follow all of the other recommendations about scent control, wind direction, all things of that nature. If where you hunt allows for baiting, do that.
But Oconee National Forest don't allow.
Okay.
Bait.
Well, you don't need to, because you're going to let everybody else send the deer to you. Okay. But other than that, and then lastly, the recommendation is for public land hunting is hunt deep into the season.
Okay.
Okay, hunt, because most public land hunters, they hunt the first 2 or 3 weeks, then they quit.
Yes, sir.
And the big deer, the trophies, they've already driven them far from the roads, and they've pushed them deep into the area.
Okay.
So that's a few things that you can do, and they work. I'm telling you, if you'll look at GON magazine and a lot of Facebook and things like that, you'll find that some quality deer, and a lot of them come off public land. What has your experience been on public land?
Well, I haven't had that much experience because like I'm like I haven't hunted that much by myself.
All right. Well, keep those recommendations in mind and go ahead and plan those dates now. Hunt on a Wednesday and a Thursday.
Oh, I hunt every chance I can get.
Right. Well, those midweek, late season, deep into the woods recommendations will work on public land.
Okay.
They absolutely will. Absolutely will. Good luck this season, pal.
Thank you, buddy.
And be sure and call me back. Let me know how you do, will you?
Yes, sir.
Mighty fine. See you soon. Glad you called. 36 after the hour. This is O'Neill Outside. You have my question about who is this, and nobody's answered that yet. The host of Championship Fishing. What's his name? I'll send you a fishing cap. Right now, we got to go to a break, I believe. It's 36:50 after the hour, and we'll be back. Welcome back, everyone. Isn't it great to start off the weekend talking about fishing and hunting? Isn't it great to separate politics and all this other trash that you listen to, regrettably, all during the week? And I can tell you, if it wasn't the recommendation of my stations, I would have some dramatic, supportive opinions about politics. But isn't it great that I haven't? Okay. All right, here's a call right now. We're still looking for our answer to our question, but here's Roadster calling from Doraville, Georgia. Good morning, Roadster. What do you think?
What you doing there, Big Shorty?
Say again, I didn't hear it.
How you doing, Big Shorty?
Oh, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, you bet.
How's the Queen?
She's upstairs sleeping in this morning, and
Well, that's what a queen does.
That's right. And your terminology in referencing her as the Queen is quite correct.
Yeah, we got that from boards, didn't we?
Oh yeah, okay, okay.
We're not going to mention politics.
No.
Deep water trout fishing. Let's bring it back to Georgia. Let's talk with Hank the Yank and say Lanier like it used to. Did you ever do that with your father on a Friday night at Lanier with lantern fishing with radios going and everybody having a ball, everybody catching fish?
Oh man, yeah, I used to do that in the mid '60s and early '70s.
Yeah,
that's before they put stripers in the lake.
Yeah, put those stupid fish that taste like a shoe.
Trout fishing at Lake Lanier was absolutely marvelous. But I will tell you that one of the reasons why stripers went into the lake and destroyed that fishery is, number one, that the lake, in this case Lake Lanier, became too fertile to support the trout population.
Oh, it was fertility versus, I thought it was because the water was not cold enough. But
it's still the same. At 45 and 50 feet, the temperature is still the same, but the water fertility and oxygen level depleted because there were so many golf courses and
I got you.
Yeah.
Well, we got to expand. Have you heard of anybody doing that at Burton or Lake Chickamauga?
I have not. I know that they have put in some trout at Burton, but I don't know. And people are catching them. They really are.
Well, Lanier on Friday night. I mean, there were boats, pontoons, cruisers, yachts.
Yeah.
It was just total 100% fun for everybody, and they had their families, and everybody was young children, and everybody could go in there and catch 14 to 16-inch rainbows.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And one of the great things about that, from a family standpoint, you did not have to be an angler.
Exactly.
You didn't have to make a cast and work a bait or anything.
Oh no!
You just hung it off the side of the boat, and when the rod tip hit the water, you reeled him in.
You got it, Louisiana pink worm.
They love that, and they love corn, and I had a fellow, I couldn't afford one, but I had a friend that I went with, and we had an umbrella net. You know what that is?
Oh, that's before my time.
Well, an umbrella net is like it's got a crossed frame and then a frame on the outside, and you drop this thing down into the water at about 6 feet deep, and it opens up, and then when the shad come around your light, all you have to do is raise the net, and you've got shad by the thousands.
Well, I tell you what, that would have been a great way to go, but it was like you had said, and it was just a simple way to fish.
Yes, it was.
And you could take your family up there and catch. I mean, we weren't talking about catching bluegills. We're talking, 12, 14, 15, 16-inch rainbow.
Absolutely.
Well, they were stock fish. It wasn't any big. I mean,
that's okay.
But I'd like to get Hank's opinion on that when he calls in.
I don't know if and we will, but I don't know if Hank the Yank lived here in Georgia while there was trout still in the lake. We'll ask him today if he calls.
Yeah, he's a carp man.
Yeah, in the summertime he is. Shallow water carp guy.
Yeah, you got it, right.
You bet. Hey, thanks for calling, pal, and reminding us of a terrific period at Lake Lanier and other lakes that trout fishing in the summertime was something really special.
I always enjoy talking to you.
Thank you very much for calling, and call every Saturday. Love to speak with you.
All right, buddy. Bye.
See you, pal. There we go. Okay, I think a lot of calls coming in. I think we probably have we do have our winner. Let's get to that right now at 46 after the hour before I have to go to a break. And the question was, well, he had a plumbing company. He started Bass Buster Lures, and he was the host of Championship Fishing. And let's talk to Steve. Steve is calling from Indiana. Where are you calling from, Steve? Where in Indiana?
From LaPorte, Indiana.
LaPorte, Indiana. Well, good. How are you listening to us there, sir?
I'm listening on the radio.
Okay. All right.
1050.
All right. Terrific. That signal really gets out there, doesn't it?
It sure does. I've enjoyed your show for the last 20 years.
Well, you're very, very kind to be a part of the program this morning. And what is this fellow's name that was the host of Championship Fishing?
Virgil Ward.
Yes, indeed. He made a great living out of a beetle spin, swimming it back and forth on television in an aquarium, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he was a good guy. I don't think he's living now, but he was quite a pioneer. And I'll put you back on hold. I'll get your address, and we'll send you a fishing cap. And I do appreciate you participating in the program this morning.
You're welcome. Enjoy the show.
Thank you very, very much.
Have a safe Labor Day weekend.
You too. I'll put you back on hold, my friend, and get your information. And let's see, it's 4:48 after the hour. Let's talk now to Paul. He's calling from Minnesota. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning. How are you today?
Morning. Good. Lovely. I recall our other calls, I believe. Do I not?
Yes.
Okay.
So we've had a few. I wanted to talk about fall fishing.
Ooh, okay.
You were talking about how sometimes things change, go to moving water and so forth.
Yes, current.
Some of the best fishing that I have had has been in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
We have a change in water temperature. The lakes aren't as busy, and it really is an exciting time to be out fishing.
You bet it is. You know, one of the contributing factors, and I guess I talked about, I'm always trying to up somebody else's call, and I'm not in this case. But one of the things that has to do with the fall fishing increasing is the reduced numbers of hours of daylight. The fish react to that, and they feed better.
Well, I would agree. And the best fishing trip I ever had.
Oh boy!
I actually was. I was alone, and I spent a couple days on a lake in northern Minnesota, about the third week of October.
Oh boy!
And I was trolling for 2 or 3 days with a Snell, a red and white spinner, and some fathead minnows.
Okay.
And I landed. I stopped my count at 100 northern.
Good for you.
Nothing spectacular, no big record-setting size, but they were putting the feed bag on at about 15 feet of water.
Yeah,
and it just was exciting.
Well, it's quite a combination that comes together that time of the year, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, the temperature, the reduced number of hours of daylight, the bait activity, and you were catching northern pike, huh?
Yes, and I actually think I don't recall for sure, but there is the lake turnover. I think it's called Stratify.
Correct.
And that happens up here in October, November when the water conditions change. Of course, the temperature of the surface water cools down, and then the lake turns over. And for those couple days, a few days, the fishing isn't as good in my experience because it's cloudy and smelly and all kinds of things. But after that turnover, the fishing is pretty good.
You know why? I'm not trying to challenge you, but I'm using it as a learning experience for the audience. You know why it turns over?
Well, it's my understanding that the water on the bottom of the lake is cooler, and the lake water on the top is warmer. And as the water cools down on the surface, it will fall to the bottom and it turns over. That's my understanding.
That is correct. Cold water is heavier than warm water. So at nights, when the water temperature falls, it sinks and it turns the lake over. So you are correct, and I'm proud that you know that.
Well, thank you, and I'm going to be heading. Our last conversation was about a houseboating trip and fishing.
Yes.
It was just fantastic in June. I'm going again in 3 weeks for some fall fishing along the Canadian border, and I hope to have just an outstanding walleye trip.
Oh, man, the best tasting freshwater fish on earth.
So now
walleye.
Next year I'm going to be in June. I can't take my annual houseboat trip because I'm going to be traveling on a cruise to Alaska.
Oh, yeah? With whom?
With you.
Aha! I knew that.
So we will meet. We will meet in a year.
Yes, indeed. Just think, we can talk fishing for 3 days. No, 7 days.
Well, maybe a couple days.
Okay,
we might have
all right.
other fun things to do.
Okay, good idea. Maybe we can talk about why some of the mountains up there still have peaks and other mountains are smooth. And we may talk about that next week or the next, whenever you call.
That sounds good.
Yes, indeed. We'll all learn something. Hey, thanks for calling, pal. Good luck on your next trip.
You have a wonderful day.
You bet. Have a great weekend, and indeed it is a weekend. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside, 404-872-0750, or outside the Atlanta calling area and worldwide, 800-972-8255. When we return, more conversation. And if you and I can learn something, I'd love for you to tell me what your plans are for the fall hunting season. You're listening to and watching in case on Facebook, the #1 live outdoor-based radio talk show in the world, and we are in our 29th year. I'm sorry. I can't help it. It's been a long haul, but it's fun every Saturday morning, and refreshing every Saturday morning to hear from you guys and ladies. about fishing, hunting, how to improve it, how to be better at it, what to use, what to do. All those things that can make your outdoor experience better. And here's one. I'm going to give you two. Number one, you're going to be going to the range and shooting and sighting in your various calibers of rifles. I know I do. I have a new one called a Cascade. It's CVA's new centerfire rifle. One of the things I want you to be sure and do while you're at the range, when you're sighting in, once you're on the bench and you got it and you're in, you're sighted, you're done, you're good, take some shots freehand. Out, off the bench, standing up in whatever comfortable position you determine is good for you. Shoot freehand, because you don't know, this season you may have to do that. Take some shots freehand. It's not always from a stand. It's not always from a tower stand or a bench. It's not always from a tripod in a ground blind. It can be freehand. So get comfortable with your rifle freehand at various distances. It'll help, believe me. It'll help, especially in you managing the kick. Okay, I'm over time. I got to get out of here. We'll be back in a few minutes. This is O'Neill Outside. What a surprise.
Good morning, boys and girls, from Black Powder headquarters at Three Falls Cabin in the North Georgia Mountains. CVA presents Real Tree Radio. Welcome to a brand new unused Saturday morning.
Welcome to the program, everyone. I jump all over the radio broadcast. This is a simulcast on television and radio, Facebook, and on WSB and the SB Nation. Welcome to the program, everyone. Another hour of outdoors headed your way. Some terrific conversations, lessons to be learned, things to be reminded of, if you will. And so let's add to some enjoyment for the outdoors. The telephone numbers are 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255 outside the Atlanta calling area on the SB Nation Radio Network. LA to Seattle to Maine to Florida, all across the country, and the WSB Super Signal covering 38 states east of the Mississippi, and we're talking outdoors. We've had a good first hour, a lot of calls, a lot of questions, and we're going to, at 5:25, we'll have the radio prize package, and at 5:40, we will have the Medal of Honor tribute. It's my pleasure to invite you to watch O'Neill Outside Television, Fox Sports Networks, the Pursuit Channel, Waypoint TV, Carbon TV, the Camo Crusade. Man, oh man, it's everywhere. Don't forget you can watch O'Neill Outside, and it's a reflection of this show. And, two, you can watch this show on Facebook throughout the week and on many of those video on demand networks that I mentioned. So we have some recommendations for you, some reminders, and hopefully your calls from all over the world at 404-872-0750 in Atlanta and 800-972-8255. That's WSBTALK. You can tell that I'm tired, but you know I should be, shouldn't I? It's Friday night, and we got the whole weekend ahead of us, and we're going to make the outdoors part of it. I need to take a break now, but I have Kevin from Texas on the line. We'll get to him right away, and then we will begin the balance of the show, and you will feel better about it during the show and sometimes after it's over. This is O'Neill. We'll be back. All right, let's kick off this balance of the hour with a call from Texas. And Kevin is calling from Texas, and he's been holding on quite a while. And welcome to the program. Kevin, how are you, sir?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Good. You sound like you're from Texas.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that's a good thing. If I'll tell, let me start off with this, then I'll entertain your subject of your call. I've hunted in Texas a lot. I've visited a lot. And if I didn't live in Georgia, that's where I'd live.
Well, sir, I can say the exact same thing, but just the opposite. I was stationed in the Army in Georgia, and if I didn't live in Texas, I would live in Georgia.
Well, welcome to the state.
Thank you, sir.
What's going on with you?
I'm trying to finish my work day today, but man, I'm looking forward to this fall.
Good.
I started deer hunting when I was 12 years old, and I hunted till my late 20s, and then I quit hunting deer, and I got real heavy into hunting these nasty feral hogs down here in Texas, and using dogs to do it, and it just man, I fell in love with the sport, and I did it for 20 years, and
it's exciting.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. If you've never done it before, I suggest everybody give it a try at least once. It's something else. But kind of backed off from that a little bit. I still keep a couple of dogs, but I got lucky enough that this year my oldest boy's father-in-law, he had a spot come up and put on his lease, and it's the same lease he's been on for 27 years.
Oh, okay.
And then this lease is up in I think it's considered the Rolling Plains region, northern Rolling Plains. It's basically up just south of the Red River, right at the bend in Texas, where North Texas and the Panhandle meet, right up around Quanah, Texas.
Okay.
And it's a large acreage, and it's got everything Texas has to offer. Well, besides antelope, but it's got whitetail deer. It's got a few mule deer. It's got javelina. It's got feral hogs. It's got turkey. I feel like I missed. Aldead sheep as well.
Really?
A few roaming around. So yeah, there's all kinds of opportunities. But like I said, I got lucky enough to have a spot opening up, and I went ahead and took it. So it's going to be my first deer lease in over 20 years, and the first time I've hunted deer in over 20 years.
Fantastic! So. It's got It's kind of like relearning everything.
Oh yeah, and I bought a bow this year. I hadn't had a bow since I was in the Army there in Georgia, but I'm gonna use that bow a little bit. I've already been shooting it, and I'm actually gonna use it on my property that I live on. I've got some whitetail that pass through there, and a few hogs every now and then. So during the week, I'm gonna try to slip out and hunt my property before I go to work or after I get home from work, and then on the weekends I plan on driving up to the deer lease. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Fantastic. I read something that was interesting the other day. 23% of all the white-tailed deer that are harvested with a bow prior to the rifle season.
Well, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yes, it does, really doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does, and that's one thing that I am gonna focus on. This bow season on that deer lease. Like I said, we do have the mule deer, and I want to say, a general mule deer season in Texas is only 2 weeks during the latter part of November, but I want to say that you can kill a mule. I can't remember. Maybe that's wrong, but I was going to try to say maybe you can kill a mule deer during bow season, but maybe that's wrong. Maybe I was just thinking about the Aldead, one section of the land that I'm going to hunt on. But I know I'm going to spend the 2 weeks of mule deer season up on the part of the lease that the mule deer are spotted at for the most part, and I'm just going to still hunt up in those canyons up there for. As many times as I can go in that 2 week period.
That's good. I like to hunt mule deer. They're a lot easier than whitetail.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they are. The mule deer is almost gentle. A whitetail is frantic, but a mule deer is almost a gentle animal.
Well, I've had the opportunity to hunt them before, back years and years and years ago. I didn't do any good. I never saw one, actually. It was a weekend hunt out in Van Horn, Texas. I never saw one. My brother saw one buck and a group of does, but he never got a shot off. But I sure enjoy it anyway.
Well, good for you. Well, you've got a great season coming up, I should suggest.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. I think my wife is too. She's
good.
She's really interested in turkey hunting. So I told her
man! Now
told
is
her I'd
that
take her out there turkey hunting?
All right? Last question, then I got to go. Is the turkey you hunt there? Is it a Rio or the Eastern?
It's Rio, yes, sir.
Okay, well that's a lot easier. Congratulations!
Thank you so much.
All right, stay in touch soon, pal.
All right, thank you.
You bet. See you soon there. There we go. Let's drop that one. Let's talk now, because he's always got so much information. Let's talk now to Mac. He's calling from the Lake Lanier region. Good morning, Mac. What do you say?
Good morning, Odell.
Well, has the reduced hours of daylight affected the fishing yet?
No, it's just provided me with a little extra sleep in the morning.
Okay.
I can start a little bit later than I was 2 months
Good
ago.
for you.
So, no, the signs of the season change are definitely there. You know, we're a couple months off the solstice now, so the days are definitely getting shorter, and you can feel it. But we're starting to see some subtle changes. That's just now beginning to happen. Old photo period getting shorter, and you know, it's here. And normally we start getting our first good cold fronts, you know, early September, and that starts dropping water temperature. Days are shorter. That sets that whole chain of events in motion. So we're real close.
Good. I thought of you this morning because I had a call from a fellow in Minnesota. And the lake turnovers already started there.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's, you know, because they're weather-wise, they're 3 or 4 weeks ahead of us.
At least. Yeah, that far north. So yeah, he's dealing with that set of circumstances. He's right in the middle of it. So yeah, you bet.
Fishing here is still full-on summer patterns. Fishing's been really good. Striper fishing particularly, live bait, trolling, main lake stuff, river channels, creek channels. Bass fishing's actually really good, particularly. This has never been one of our better months. August is historically not one of our better months, but considering it's August, I think bass fishing is very good.
Great.
So, you know, tough dilemma this week. Got a lot of stuff going on. We got a lot of football and barbecues, but if you get a chance, and the weather's beautiful in the Southeast this week, so get out there and get on the lake. Yeah, there's a good chance. So
you don't have to fish all day. Just fish for a couple of 3 hours. What the heck, right?
Yeah, fish till 11 o'clock. Go watch football, eat barbecue. That sounds like a good program to me.
You've always have some great recommendations.
Well, that's a good one. That's what I'm going to do. So I think everybody follow suit, get out on the lake, catch fish, be safe while you're out there. Have fun.
You bet. When you get ready to go fishing and learn all about it, call or email, or find him on his website at
CaptainMax.com, CaptMacks.com.
All right, good luck today. Have a great weekend, pal.
You do the same. Talk to you next time.
Bet. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
There we go. All right, let's see here. It's I don't have time to the next call. Ross is calling from Villa Rica. Hank the Yank is on the line, but we'll get to those in just a moment. But one of the things I wanted to mention, I don't have time for a call, but I've got enough time for this. I say enjoy the outdoors, hunting, fishing, camping, all of those things. But here's something maybe that you haven't thought of that you can do in an hour or two with your children, grandchildren, maybe the little kid down the street that his father is not an outdoorsman. Go on a hike, a short hike, not long, at one of the wildlife management areas. This is now before the season begins. And here's how you make the most of it. Okay? Hike, stop, sit, and shut up. Sit at the bottom of the tree and be quiet. It won't take long for the woods to wake up around you. The birds, the squirrels, or whatever. And it's exciting. We'll be back. Welcome back. I got to get you guys hold it on. I know I'm abusing you, but just hold on a minute. Let me get the radio prize package out there. Telephone numbers for the radio prize package are 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255. The rules are, if you've won a prize package, you cannot win another one. The first answer only is the answer you'll be able to give. And number 2 or 3, you have to be 18 years old. All right, here's the radio prize package. A Bojangles gift card, Swaggerty's Farm voucher. You get some good sausage. A White-tailed Institute DVD about how to plant food plots. Angler magazine, a Realtree hat and decal combo. 2 cans of Fisher's Choice baits. A Thunder Chicken casting float from Mark Abel. Mark Noble, that is, an Arctic Ice freezer pack. That's a really good thing. And a selection of True Turn tackle. That's all in the prize package. First correct answer to the following question. Almost every week, we get a call from Milton Crabapple. What is Milton's brother's name? What is Milton Crabapple's brother's name? He tells us almost every week. Right now, let's talk to Ross. He's calling from a great little town called Villa Rica, Georgia. Good morning, Ross.
Good morning, O'Neill. How are you doing?
Outstanding.
Dude, that's his name.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not. I just hear him talk about Dude all the time.
Dude is one of his fishing buddies.
I just wanted to talk about a couple of things. I remember when Lanier had the fishing for the trout down at the dam. Everybody went down and and listened to the Braves and caught the trout. And then they put the stripers in the lake. My parents' dad, Don Beaver, had a boat at Lanier at Holiday, and we used to fish. And then when the stripers were introduced to the lake, the trout went away within 2 years. They ate every one of them, I guess.
They sure did. They ate every one of them.
But yes, I fished.
They share the same water level.
Yes, they definitely do. But I fished my lake in Alabama, and you catch yourself going down the bank, throwing towards the shore, and even in this time, when it's hot, I tell people fishing with me to just turn around and cast towards the middle of the lake.
Correct.
And when we do that and start fishing the deeper water, we start catching fish and bigger fish during the summer.
It just requires some patience.
Yes, and you fish deep and then deeper, like you said. If you can fish, that is exactly right. But I have never caught a striper in 97 feet of water before. Now that is something.
That was quite a surprise. We saw him on the depth finder at 97 feet, and I bounced a big spoon off the bottom and got bit.
So it was in the cold. Yeah, you have to torpedo them to get them back in that colder water. When you release them, you have to throw them head first and sink them down. But I fished with a gentleman on Lanier named Clay, and he is an awesome guide. I take him out a couple of times a year, and the striper fishing on Lanier is just wonderful.
You bet it is, and still is.
Yep, but I look forward to fishing and hunting this year. But yeah, accuracy and practice, even with your high-powered rifle. Shoot your bow as often as you can, and shoot every gun you have, and shoot it left-handed, and shoot it standing up. I missed a big deer in South Alabama about 3 years ago. Went around the corner. He was standing in a scrape at about 100 yards, and I missed him trying to shoot offhand.
Oh yeah,
because it just it's just, and I was nervous. I was shaking pretty bad.
You're not used to that.
No, and I missed him, and I've got a light trigger on my Tika, probably 3 pounds, and just clean miss. So it happens.
Hey, you know the guy who's never. I know somebody. I know several guys who have never missed a deer.
The guys that don't hunt, they have other hobbies. Yeah,
they've never been hunting. Yeah,
that is exactly right.
Thanks for calling, Ross.
All right, good to talk to you, O'Neill. Always a pleasure. Thank you.
You bet. See you later, pal. That's all right. Good. Now let's talk to Hank the Yank. What do you say? Let me bring him up here. He's been holding on quite a while. What do you say, sir?
I'm looking forward to my. I have a very small window for my hunting season. I don't hunt deer. I hunt cow.
Yeah, there you go.
That's my favorite game to hunt. So listen, I'm not going to give you much of a fishing report this week, O'Neill, because, Fluffy and I, we went carp fishing last week, and we did well. We caught carp. I sent you a picture.
Yes.
And of about a 12-pound carp we caught in about 8 inches of water, and, we were stalking. It's fun because you're hunting. You're not just casting. You're actually spotting, sight casting the fish. But what I wanted to let our listeners know about today, give them a week to prepare, is next Saturday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Up in the beautiful North Georgia mountains of Helen, Georgia. Our good friends at Unicoi Outfitters are having an event. They're celebrating their 25 years of being in business. And so they are bringing in some good food, and they're going to have an event where I'll be up there tying. There'll be some other fly tyers. There'll be all the fly fishing reps from all the different companies up there showing their stuff. And if you want to wiggle or learn about fly fishing or wiggle a fly rod, up at Unicoi Outfitters, which is just going into the town of Helen on the right side from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. next Saturday for a 25-year anniversary. It really should be a lot of fun, and we're going to help celebrate with one of the best fly shops east of the Mississippi that we're very blessed and fortunate to have here in North Georgia.
And the audience will get to meet Hank the Yank.
And they'll get to meet, and we'll talk, have a lot of fun talking about O'Neill.
Oh,
and how he's the same off the radio as he is on the radio.
I don't know how to be otherwise, but you're right.
No, that's true.
Hey, I wish I could be there. I can't. I won't, but I'd love to be, and I hope you. Yeah. I'm sure it'll be ultra successful.
It'll be a great event that they're having up there, and what's really nice is there's probably still a few stripers sitting right behind the shop at Nora Mill, where you can overlook from, they have that overlook next to that old granary, and you can look in the water and still see some stripers along with some trout sharing the same water. Those are the fish that come up from Lanier, and that's about as far as they can go, those striped bass.
That's right. They'll travel.
They will definitely travel, and the only other thing I'm going to tell you is the shoal bass fishing. I keep getting reports from our friends at Unicoi that the shoal bass fishing in the upper part of the Hooch has just been fantastic. Yeah. Continues to fish well this summer, all on poppers. That's a trip you need to take one day.
Shoal bass love popping cork type stuff.
They do.
Oh,
they do.
Man.
And for our listeners that are calling from Texas or Minnesota and some of those faraway places that you've been talking to folks, a shoal bass, if you looked at it, looks almost exactly like a smallmouth.
Yes, it does.
It is native to Georgia and Georgia only, but that is a tough hombre right there, and they live in beautiful places.
And a 3-pounder's a big one.
A 3-pounder's a big one, and they've been sticking on poppers, O'Neill. They've been sticking some fish that are pushing 5.
Wow.
Yeah, up here in North Georgia, the Unicoi has really got that shoal bass fishing dialed in.
I think I'm going to speculate here. If I recall, the world record shoal bass was caught in South Georgia, and I think he weighed somewhere in the territory of 8 pounds.
That's what I've heard as well. That's exactly what I've heard. Well, listen, just wanted to call this morning to let you know about that event, and today we have another event. Go Dogs, sick 'em.
Yeah, go Dogs.
We're gonna beat the Commodores tonight.
That's right. Well, I want everyone to know that my alma mater is undefeated.
Your alma mater is undefeated, and we should hold that. You should hold that alma mater for a prize package question one week.
That's a good idea. I'll do that next week, maybe.
I'm not going to say what your team's logo is, but we'll hold on to that one for another day.
All right, my good friend. Have a great weekend.
You too, pal.
You bet. See you later. There we go. Yeah, my team's my alma mater is undefeated. Let's see now. Do we not have an answer yet, Corey, from our radio prize package? Well, how about that? Milton Crabapple calls almost every week. What is the name of his brother? I'm not going to give it to you. You have to know the name of his brother, and it's not Dude. Think about the other calls from Milton, and maybe you can win the radio prize package. I think we've got time for this, I think. Let's talk to Clark, and he's calling from Mississippi with a fishing story. Good morning, Clark.
Yes, your name is O'Neill, sir?
My first name is Donald, but I go by my middle name, O'Neill.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I just wanted to tell you about a fishing story I had one time.
Okay.
I don't believe people would believe that if I hadn't. I had it on tape. But several years ago, I was fishing in a private pond, and to keep it short, I cast it 5 times, and I was fishing with a man's 8 or 9 inch grape summit purple worm, and I cast it 5 times. And how long does it take you to cast 5 times and to reel it back in? Probably 3 or 4 minutes or so.
Okay.
But out of those 5 casts, those 5 back-to-back casts, I caught 5 bass, and the littlest one weighed 5 1/4 pounds, and the biggest one weighed 6 1/2 pounds. And like I say, if I hadn't, when I tell that story, I know most people won't believe that on 5 back-to-back casts that I caught those 5 fish.
I believe
it. It was really something. It was really something. What time does your show come on, and what nights does it come on?
Okay, I'm gonna put you on hold so I can get to that, because I've got to go to a break right now. This is O'Neill, and we'll be back with the Medal of Honor. Nicholas Oresko, Master Sergeant, Army, Germany, 1945. Oresko was a platoon leader in an attack against a strong German position. Deadly automatic fire from the flanks pinned down his unit, and realizing that a machine gun in the nearby bunker must be eliminated, he swiftly worked ahead alone. Bullets struck all around him until he was close enough to throw a grenade into the German position. He rushed the bunker and, with point-blank rifle fire, killed all the Germans who survived the grenade blast. Another machine gun opened up on him immediately, knocking him down and seriously wounding him with a bullet to the hip. Refusing now to withdraw from the battle, he placed himself at the head of his platoon to continue the assault. As machine gun and rifle fire swept the area, he struck out alone in advance of his men to a second bunker. With a grenade, he crippled the machine gun and then wiped out all the Germans manning it with his rifle, completing his second self-imposed one-man attack. Although weak from loss of blood, he refused to be evacuated until assured the mission was successfully accomplished. Through quick thinking, courage, and unswerving devotion to the attack, in the face of bitter resistance and while wounded, Oresko killed 12 Germans, prevented a delay in the assault, and made it possible for Company C to obtain its objective with minimum casualties. Nicholas Oresko died October 2013 at 96 years old. 42 after the hour, you're listening to O'Neill Outside. And now we're going to back and revisit, I think, with Clark, if he's still on the line.
Yes,
good morning, Clark. You had a question.
I'm still on the line. I just wanted to ask you, this is my first time to call and my first time to listen to your show. What time? Y'all are an hour ahead of us. I'm in the Central Standard Time Zone. What radio station do y'all come on?
You mean television?
On radio.
Oh, the radio show comes on 7:50 a.m., 95.5 FM at this time of day, Eastern Time, 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. But you can listen to the program on Facebook 24 hours a day.
All right, yes, sir. Oh, okay. And I just wanted to say this is my first time to listen, and I'm enjoying the show, and you have a great day.
Thank you very much. You have a great weekend, too, Clark. I appreciate that. Okay, there we go. You bet. All right, now let's go to the question was for the radio prize package at 43 after the hour. Milton Crabapple calls every week, and he tells us his brother's name. And Dave is calling from Woodstock. Good morning, Dave. You're on O'Neill Outside. Welcome to the program.
Good morning again, O'Neill. Hadn't talked to you in a few years. You talking about the Outhouse Obliterator, OC, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. OC is Milton Crabapple's brother's name. And you are quite correct, and you'll give us an opportunity to send to you a radio prize package, and it'll get us a couple of weeks, but you'll enjoy the package.
Well, I sure thank you.
You should call more often.
I will.
Mighty fine.
We'll talk to you later.
You bet. See you soon. There we go. We've got a winner for that. That's all right. Now let's see. It's 44 after the hour. We've got time for this. Let's talk now to Richard is calling from West Virginia. I always enjoy Richard's calls. Good morning, Richard. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm sick in bed with a nurse. Oh, that's a personal problem there.
Okay.
You know, I learned something today when I heard that your first name is Donald.
Yes.
Donald O'Neill.
Donald O'Neill Williams. That is correct.
Donald O'Neill Williams.
Well,
I wanted to find out, because you talk about this all the time. You talk about the Fisher's Choice baits.
Yes.
And I'm just wondering with that, if you just go buy a bottle of those, why do you need anything else, tying flies or anything else? If you can, or is that just maybe those Fisher baits are just for catching certain type of fish? Or
well, okay, the Fisher's Choice baits are primarily for catfish and brim, something shoreline, because a worm, a mealworm, a super worm, a piece of shrimp, a piece of cricket, that's going to be for shallow water brim and catfishing, because you're going to throw it out there and leave it, and the smell is going to attract the bite.
Oh, okay. So that's just for catfish and brim. I was just thinking that
panfish, yes.
The way you were promoting it, it sounded like all you have to do is buy a bottle of those Fisher's Choice, and you can catch anything with it. But
well, you might. It's a convenient way to use live bait without having to use live bait.
Is that available any place in the United States?
Yes, it's available at Walmart and on Amazon. You can buy it on Amazon also. Fisher's Choice, and you can get it at Walmart.
Just go to Walmart and get myself a bottle of Fisher's Choice then.
There you go.
Thanks, O'Neill.
Thank you. Glad you called. I always enjoy that, Richard. You bet I do. There we go. Let's see. It's 46 after the hour. We've got time for this. Let's talk to John on O'Neill Outside. John is calling from New York. Good morning, John. Proud to have you on the show.
Yes, greetings from the Catskill Mountains, where during a thunderstorm you do not want to be on the summit of Slide Mountain.
Oh, yeah? Why is that? High winds?
During a thunderstorm, the lightning's raining down on you.
I'll bet so.
You start repenting of your sins real quick.
That's
the highest mountain. That's the highest mountain in the Catskill Mountains, about 4,200
No kidding.
feet.
Here's an interesting fact about lightning. When you see the lightning bolt, okay?
Right.
That lightning bolt is going from Earth to the clouds. It has already traveled from the clouds to Earth. It's going in reverse.
It's amazing, and how quick it comes down on you.
Oh yeah. Yep. Maybe one day the scientists will figure out how to harness that energy.
And there's a lot of it.
Oh boy. One lightning bolt could power a city like Atlanta for a year.
Incredible
is right. So how's life in the Catskills?
Catskills really good this time of year. O'Neill, I've been sleeping out as much as possible because 80% of Americans cannot see the Milky Way at night.
That's correct.
I really appreciate seeing it. And I just also camping out. I've done that many times during the years. I've been fortunate enough to see glowing wood chips out in the woods. It's called foxfire fungus. I've been fortunate twice. Once actually camping out in Florida.
Oh.
And another time up here in the Catskills. It's a rare sight, but I don't know if any of you callers have ever seen it before, but it's quite something.
Let me ask you, John, let me ask you a question. When you're sighting the stars, it's probably best in the wintertime when there's low humidity, I guess.
Yeah.
But when you're doing that, do you use binoculars or do you use a scope, a powerful scope?
Well, we, like I mentioned to you before, we saw the moons around Jupiter. We're just using a spotting scope for that.
Oh, boy.
And that was quite amazing. Then I have my camera equipment, and I set up my telephoto lens and was actually able to photograph that.
Yeah.
You know.
I read, let me recommend a book to you. It's called it's by Bill Bryson, and the name of the book is A Short History of Nearly Everything. And I could talk about it for a half an hour. But in the book he details some things about the subject of our call now, that being viewing the stars and the galaxies. And I post the following to you in confirmation, but also seeking your reaction, and that is this. He says that with a naked eye on a nice night, you can see 2,000 stars, maybe 5,000 with the naked eye. With binoculars, you can see 50,000 stars. With a go ahead.
Yeah. I even have a night vision, and when you put that up,
boy. And he details in that book a fellow in Australia. I don't recall his name, it doesn't matter. And he is a professional at what we're talking about. And with his 16-inch telescope in Australia, where the humidity is practically zero and where there is no light from any city, he can see 100,000 galaxies.
Wow.
Isn't that something? I bet you witnessed a generous portion of that with what you do.
Well, I'm definitely blessed, and I don't take anything for granted. One tip I might throw out to some people if they're camping out,
please do.
What have you? Yes, I backpack quite a bit. Throw a sponge in your backpack, because you're bound to get a little bit of water in your tent. You could just sponge it up and wring it out, and there you go. It weighs next to nothing.
Fantastic. Good idea.
Yep.
Good idea.
Hey, O'Neill, just one more thing. You mentioned squirrel hunting.
Take your time.
I've done a lot of squirrel hunting. You might think nothing of it, but there's been a couple times in my life, in my younger years, where I was happy to have a squirrel and rice dinners. And that's about all I had at the time. And I was thankful I had it.
Good. In the state of, I'll tell you this, then I'll go. In Louisiana, squirrel hunting is so popular. I think it's Louisiana. It's so popular that no one works that day. It's a holiday on opening day of the squirrel season.
That's great.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yes.
Terrific for taking a child hunting, because you see lots of game, and you get lots of shots, and there's a lot of reasons why. But squirrel hunting is an outstanding participant, and it lasts a long time. Hey, listen, I'm glad you called, and I want to know more upon your next call about your astronomy, if you will.
I'm an amateur, but I'm fascinated by it.
Oh, as I am. And when you get a chance, get Bill Bryson, A Short History of Nearly Everything. I guarantee it, you'll read it over and over and over. Have a great weekend, pal.
You too.
You bet.
Thanks.
See you later. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside. We'll be back. 57 after the hour. It's been a pretty good 2 hours, hasn't it? Calls from New York, from Texas, from the Catskills, and discuss several subjects with recommendations from the callers and from your old buddy O'Neill, and about fishing, hunting, from squirrels to whitetail to mule deer to hogs, and recommendations about starting the hunting season, about shooting, and had a confirmation about that from an outstanding skilled hunter who missed a prize deer because he had not practiced enough, evidently, with freehand rifle shooting. Interesting, you have to practice that. So O'Neill's Big Mouth has a lot of recommendations. I hope that you enjoy the program. We've been on the air now for 28 years. It's my pleasure, I had failed to do this, to remind you, and in thanking, that this program radio show is brought to you by Realtree, Tough Shed, Stripling's General Store, the Whitetail Institute, Arctic Ice, CVA, The Furminator, Quality Deer Management Association, Fisher's Choice Baits, and Snellville Heating and Air. They keep things running up here very, very well. So I hope you have a great weekend. Hey, make the outdoors part of it. I know we've got football season coming up and all that, and you can enjoy that, but an adventure in the outdoors doesn't have to be all day. A trip to the local pond can be a couple of hours. It doesn't have to be that way, that you spend all day in the rain or the cold or the heat. Spend a little time in the outdoors every weekend. Those are the times that you will remember the longest, especially if you have your family with you. So keep this in mind this week. Have a great holiday, and we will see you next week. If you're too busy to go fishing and take a kid along, you're too busy. This is O'Neill, and I'll see you next week.
I once asked a mighty hunter, coming home from the field, how he came to possess such mighty hunting and fishing skill. He said, I'll tell you a secret, son. I learned everything I know from listening to O'Neill Outside on my radio. O'Neill, O'Neill, O'Neill Outside.